Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my 2022 GMC Yukon XL, and this is the SLE trim level, but this has the 3-liter Duramax Diesel in it. And so we've owned this about 4 months, and it's time for our first service. GM pays for the first servicing of your vehicle when you buy a GM vehicle, so they pay for the first oil change, tire rotation. With this one, they'll top off the DEF fluid, the diesel exhaust fluid, and then just do kind of a multi-point inspection just to make sure everything's good. So we're gonna jump in. We're gonna take it to the dealership that we bought it from. Luckily, they're only about 2 miles away from here, so they're really close. Drop this off, and then we'll see what they find. Okay, here in the interior of the GMC Yukon, you can see this gauge cluster. In 2022, in newer vehicles, you'll see that the gauge cluster is all digital, which even on the SLE trim, which this is, you still get that digital gauge cluster, which is nice. I'll leave a link down below to other videos I've made if you want a full detail walkthrough, go through the features of this vehicle. But really what I want to highlight right now is I want to show you what my odometer reads. It reads 4,316 miles. So that's over 4 months, so just over 1,000 miles a month is about what we're driving on this. But look in the middle, this middle number, the MPG, is the lifetime MPG. 23.2 MPG. Now a lot of that city driving, I would say 65% of the miles are city driving, 35% highway. We've seen over 30 miles per gallon on the highway on this vehicle. So this is very impressive MPG for a vehicle this size with this engine. Now again, this is a diesel engine. So the diesel fuel is going to be a little bit more than regular, but if you get the 6.2 liter V8 in some of these Yukons, you have to put premium fuel in it anyways. So premium fuel versus diesel, it's going to be about the same cost. So you're going to get better fuel economy out of the diesel engine than you are the bigger V8, 6.2 V8. And it's even better than the 5.3 V8 because that's not getting nearly as good as MPG. So I'm impressed so far. This Duramax Diesel is a great engine. I'm really glad that we got this this Duramax engine, the 3-liter. I mean, it's a 6-cylinder. It's a 6-cylinder engine, so it's going to get much better fuel economy. It is turbocharged, so it does have that turbo. So you don't have a lot of lag. It's got nice torque down low with the diesel. And over the 4 months that we've owned this, it's actually been a very good vehicle. No problems, no issues, just like you'd expect a new vehicle to have. You wouldn't expect there to be any issues or problems, and we haven't had any, and we've really enjoyed this. Now, just to give you some perspective, this is my wife's daily driver, and I'm taking it in to get serviced, and they'll top off some, if there's any fluids that need to be topped off, change the oil filter, and then rotate the tires. So that's complimentary for GM vehicles the first visit, and then subsequent ones. We actually have, with the dealership that we bought it through, there's I think we get 8 oil services over the first 5 years. So that was an included benefit, which is nice. But I normally do a lot of the maintenance on vehicles myself, but with this one, I'm not going to have to do any of that. I'm just going to take it to the dealer and let them do it. Now this dealer, they were pretty good to work with, and I'm hoping that this service visit goes well. I called them up this morning. It's like 10:30 right now. I called them at like 9:30. I'm like, hey, when can I bring this in? They're like, yeah, bring it in, between 10:30 and 11. I'm like, that works great. I'll bring it in. I'm just gonna leave it at the dealership because it'll probably be a 30 to 45 minute wait. I just don't want to sit there and wait. So my wife will just come pick me up, and we'll just come get it when it's ready this afternoon. Anyways, back to the point. So my wife this is her daily driver. I asked her the other day, I'm like, hey, you were driving that Model X. We had a Tesla Model X of 2016. That was her daily driver for about 8 or 9 months, the time that we owned that vehicle. And we sold that in anticipation of getting our Tesla Model Y that we had ordered last year that we still don't have. And this one we ordered in November. So this Yukon we ordered in November of 2021, and we got it in March of 2022, which that was 4.5 or so months that we waited for it. And that was exactly what we expected. That's what they said. They said between 5 to 6 months. It came a little bit early, and we've really enjoyed this. Now my wife drives this primarily. She's running kids around. She's hauling kids to their activities. This is her daily driving vehicle, and I asked her the other day, I'm like, so do you miss the Tesla? Which would you prefer, this vehicle or the Tesla Model X that we sold? And she's like, yeah, I love the Yukon better. She likes it a lot more, which I wasn't surprised. This is just a much more family-friendly vehicle than the Model X. The Model X just didn't have the carrying capacity. Like, it only had 6 seats. This has 8 seats. We've got the 2 benches in the back, and then the 2 front seats, so 8 people this can hold, and all of the gear too. It's got the full storage area in the back, which is great. And then if you don't need the 3rd row, you can fold that 3rd row down. You've got tons of storage. So this thing is like the ultimate like family trip vehicle, and just great all around vehicle. And it can tow, like, you know, it can tow my trailer, it can tow a boat, it can tow various things. So it's got the carrying capacity of like a minivan, but it's got the power to be able to tow, and you have more storage. And you know, this is 4-wheel drive. So I think this is probably the perfect vehicle for us right now. My wife agrees, and she's like, yeah, I love this vehicle, I want to keep it. Even though this is kind of the base level, this is the SLE, which is, you know, has kind of more of the, it's cloth interior. It doesn't have heated seats. You know, it's kind of the basic vehicle. Doesn't have a lot of the luxury features that maybe the Tesla had, but really those aren't missed, because the functionality and the use of this has been great. All right, guys, we're just pulling in here to the dealer. This is young GMC Buick, and this is where we bought it. So all my info's on file, which they were good to work with. I'm just going to pull in here to the service department. We'll go inside and all right, let's pull right here. Okay, park here. This transmission does take a little bit getting used to, where it's just push button. You know, you have to pull up to drive, pull up for reverse, pull up for drive, push for neutral. We really haven't used these buttons here to change the transmission. This does have the 10-speed transmission, which I think is really helping with the miles per gallon. All right, all right, it should be about 30 to 40 minutes, they said. I'm going to go home and come back later to get it. All right, I just picked up the vehicle, and it was everything went great. The service department was fantastic to work with. They got me right in and out. I think they called me within 40 minutes of it being in there. And they sent me this video. I'm going to show you this. They did an inspection video. Now, even though this is a new vehicle, I mean, it's got 4,300 miles on it, so there's really not a lot for, you know, problems or issues or maintenance items. They're really just changing the oil at this point. But this dealer does this really cool service where they send you a video. The technician that's doing the service, they actually do an inspection video, and they inspect your car with it up in the air. They go through everything, just kind of show you on video, and there's just a link to it. I'm going to show you this video here, guys. All right, you can see here they show you your license plate, and they just kind of go through. The technician just kind of walks through and just goes through and explains the tire tread looks good. They check the tire tread, brake pad wear, struts, shocks, axle shafts, rear differential. Look at it there, no leaks there. Everything looked really good. No issues, as it should. This is a brand new vehicle, so there's actually no issues, no problems there. No leaks from the fuel tank, no leaks from the transfer case here. Transmission looked good, no leaks from there. Nothing from the cooling system. All the fluids were good. Axle shafts were good here. CV boots were good, and brake pad wear was good. Struts, front struts were looking good. Brake hoses were all good. Steering rack good. Control arms, and the alignment was in good shape as well. And so then they also show you your license plate, so you actually are just making sure that it's your vehicle. All right, now the servicing's done. We're going to run this at the car wash, get it all cleaned up. All right, guys, the Yukon's all cleaned up. It's been serviced. It's ready to go. So we got 4,300 miles on it. It's ready for the next 4,000 or 5,000 miles, and then we'll get it serviced again. But guys, I really can't say enough good about this vehicle. We've really loved this vehicle, mainly because it just meets our needs perfectly. You know, we have 4 kids. We're hauling them all the time. We're hauling stuff, road trips. It can haul a trailer. So it just meets our needs perfectly. So if you've got 3 or more kids and you need a vehicle and you're looking at a minivan, consider one of these, because I think this is a great alternative. You know, this is going to be more money than a minivan, but I think just the practicality, the functionality is great. Our kids are no longer in car seats. Our youngest is 6 years old. He's actually in a booster and he can buckle himself. So if your kids can buckle themselves and you're not getting them in and out of car seats, this is a great vehicle for that. We've had minivans in the past when the kids were all younger and we had to buckle them into the car seats, and that worked well for that situation. But this is kind of I think a great family vehicle. If your kids are a little older and you don't have to buckle them in their car seats. I'm really mostly impressed with this engine. The engine in this, the 3-liter Duramax Diesel engine that this has in there, I'm really impressed with this. The fuel economy, the power, the smoothness, the quietness, and the fact that it's diesel. I mean, Duramax does have a reputation of being a good, reliable diesel engine, and so I think this has the longevity-wise, I think it's got a lot more longevity than the 5.3 V8 gas engine that's included in this. Even though it is a newer engine for GM, I think they've done a great job with this, and reliability is still, there hasn't been a long-term reliability test on this, but I think it's gonna hold up great, and I'm excited about that we have a long-term vehicle that is gonna last a while. Great for kids, great for hauling. The only thing you really have to get used to with this size of vehicle is just parking. Parking in the parking lots, you have to make sure you can give yourself a little more space, a little more room backing out, and then also your garage. Sometimes these larger vehicles may not fit in your garage. Ours it fits fine, and there's no issues with that. But anyways, guys, hopefully you found this information helpful, useful, entertaining. Again, this is the 2022 GMC Yukon. It's the XL. So there's the regular Yukon, and this is the XL. This is the same size as the Suburban. So it's the longer version, and it works out great. This color is the satin steel. So it's good. I think this is probably the best looking color that you can get a Yukon in right now. It's just really kind of a darker silver, lighter gray, metallic to it. It really looks great and hides the dirt well. We've historically had black vehicles, and this is a dream to keep clean versus a black vehicle. So not only does it look good, it's easy to keep clean and hides the dirt really well. So really happy with that. Anyways, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.